Captain America is going to return. That's right. The original Cap, Chris Evans, is coming back to the Avengers. Are you surprised? I don't know. You know what I'm not surprised about? That people were crediting the Variety and the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline and not this show and Jeff Snyder for the fact that Jeremy Allen White from The Bear is going to be in The Mandalorian and Grogu as Rhoda the Hutt. So a lot of people doubting it. Can't wait for people to get egg on their face when it turns out to be 100% true. And because I'm going to give the people some other stuff to say, oh, you know what I heard from Variety and Deadline? I'm going to give you something else that if they want to pick it up, they can, and then they can take credit for it. So we have that and more on the show here today. Of course, we have Roxy's TV picks. And Roxy already off to a big start with 12 questions before we even started. Can she beat Roka again? She won her first week. So it is Christian Harloff Show. Myself, Roxy Stryer. Let's get into it, everybody. Here we go. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Tuesday show, and bringing in my co-host today, the reigning champion of the questions right now is Roxy Stryer. Remember, you said you're never going to win.
Listen, now I'm on a streak.
I know.
Now I'm on a streak.
Yep.
So you guys know what has to happen today.
Two in a row. Steph did it once before, maybe even twice before. I'm not sure, but you could do it twice. You and I were talking about how we're curious if you were going to be able to do Steph. You annihilated Steph last week.
Wow.
And you also, the only ones that came close were the Capes gentlemen, which I think you beat by like 6 or 7.
They texted and said that they came close, but then Winston was like, and you beat me on my birthday week. And it's like, I'm not trying to make it so that I don't win today, but today's Winston's birthday.
Today
wasn't
is his week.
Birthday week.
Right.
So it's like, how are you going to come at me with that, Winston? And also watch me beat you on your birthday.
I was just going to say, you know what you need to do is beat him on his birthday week.
I love Winston. You guys know he's one of my closest friends.
Yep.
But if I beat him on his birthday, it's like sports for us. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, you guys have always had that, even in the Schmodown. So
good.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, he handed me that L. I want to hand it back to him.
Yeah. Well, you did last week, for sure. So we have quite a lot to talk about, Roxy. And I don't know if you
what's up?
saw yesterday with the, the news. It was great because I had Jeff on the show, and we talked about Jeremy Allen White and what he is doing, and Jeff broke it on the show, and we were very clear. We said, just make sure that everybody, if you're going to report this news, it was Jeff Snyder via the Christian Harloff Show. Most people credited Jeff Snyder, which is fine. And as didn't matter where they heard it, as long as it was Jeff Snyder. And I was like, okay, Jeff gets a winner. What I didn't like.
Why did he tell you on your show? Why didn't he talk about it?
Because he owed me a story, and cool. we were talking about some stuff, and plus the fact that I did my own snooping around beforehand too, and it is true. The fact that not only is he in the movie, that he is voicing that character. So
you did snooping after Jeff told you, or before?
Nah, I did
Jeff
a little snooping beforehand.
Okay.
I did snooping beforehand, and
you already knew it, and Jeff
I didn't know the extent of it, of the character, and then after we talked, I knew the movie, but the character itself once, and then I sniffed around, and then that's true also. And then I was like, well, I knew, and I said to Jeff, I was like, yeah, listen, you put it on the show, and I can appreciate that in general. So people are talking about it, but Jeff's getting his due, and he should, for the most part. And then I saw people going, well, as reported on Variety and Deadline and Hollywood Reporter's like, no, just you can source the person. It's not hard to do. It's why I don't do these things in general. It's the same reason why, like, I got, when I was on, and I poured Josh Wilding on, Comic Book Movie. I was talking about Frank Grillo, and they had an article about my interview with him. And Josh Wilding clearly put my name in the thing, but I glanced over it. I don't know if I was wearing my glasses, but I've been burnt so many different times. Like when we had another thing, we had on one of the it was the Young Avengers thing that we had heard, and like all of these the Daniel Rickmans and all these people pick it up and do it, and they don't credit the show, and it's just like, look, we're not scoopers. That's not what, and even and that wasn't even. And,
well, Jeff totally is a scooper.
But us, you know, in general, we're not scoopers. So like, my thing is, I just want people to recognize the kind of stuff that we do over here, and we talk about things over here. So if it brings a little publicity to the show, then we'd like to be mentioned in that aspect. And that's all that particularly was. But it's just so people are making videos about it and sourcing Hollywood Reporter and Deadline. It's like, cut it out. Just mention, do your research of where it actually came from. But this is what I will say, because nobody had talked about this, so I will. And then
so you're about to drop tea?
And a little bit. It's not as big as what Jeff.
Also, is this your Phoebe Buffet voice? Like,
no, I got sick. I'm sick. So
okay, well, that's what happens to Phoebe. So yes, is the answer.
I guess so.
It sounds unreal.
Oh, it does.
This is such an epic voice on you. We got to stay in this register.
Oh, you like it?
Yes, it's very chill.
No,
it's very DGAF. You just told everybody, cite your sources.
Yeah,
but not in an angry way, just in a you dipshits kind of way. It's just elite.
Like, it's just not hard to do. It's
elite voice.
Yeah.
This is the energy. You know, it comes every few months.
I know,
I'm like,
but you like that one.
I know. Okay, tell me what are you dropping?
So the movie Mandalorian and Grogu, as we know now, that Jeremy Allen White plays Rhoda the Hutt. So this, to me, is just redoing what they did last time, but it sounds like this movie is going to be a rescue mission type with the Mandalorian and Grogu trying to help Rhoda. That's what I hear. Now that's very similar to what happened in the Clone Wars. And if they do that again, it's a, history repeating itself type thing. Rhoda, who gives a shit?
Well, I actually need you to explain that a little bit to me, because as you know, super casual Star Wars fan, don't know anything. Is Rhoda, is that a canon character already? Is that somebody that...
Yeah, Rhoda's Rhoda, whatever, they're getting corrected in the chat.
Okay.
Is Jabba the Hutt's son.
Right.
And was kidnapped in the Clone Wars series.
And looks like Jabba the Hutt?
Yeah, it's a hut. It's this little... Well,
it's a hut.
In the show, he's called like Stinky or something, because there's like a little baby. But I'm assuming, years later, he's I don't know how the Hutt's age, but he's older at this point. So
so it's just Jeremy Allen White's voice.
Yeah, it's just his
and
voice.
It's a rescue mission. Is the new information that you've heard?
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it's a rescue mission.
And you heard that from an inside source, and you are dropping that for the first time.
Yes, and I hear from birds.
But do you think that's actually confirmed? Do you think that's what they're doing?
100%.
You don't like that?
Not necessarily, because they did it already. That's what happened to him. He keeps getting. I don't know if he's kidnapped this time around, but he keeps going missing, and he keeps having to get rescued. So, I don't know. So that's it is what it is.
Some people go missing, have to get rescued twice, Christian. You don't think they're worth rescuing?
I just don't know. I don't know. But I'm going to read the story that Dark Horizons wrote. And now, let's see. With Dark Horizons, this
G-Man?
What?
G-Man?
Oh, probably, yeah. But if I'm going to get... Yeah, it's Garth Franklin writes all of them. If I'm going to guess, because I haven't read the article yet, I'm going to guess that Garth Franklin did not cite this show. No way. But I'll guarantee you that he cited Snyder. If I was going to
That would be really sad, because you have cited G-Man.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. There's no world he did.
I had no idea who Garth was before you. And that... He is a nickname in my head because of how much you make sure you cite G-Man and Dark Horizons.
That's okay.
G-Man, Dark Horizons, G-Man, Dark Horizons, both outlet and person.
I think I'm the only one who reads Dark Horizons. All right, here it is.
I'd never heard of the site before you.
The only way that the reason I heard of Dark Horizons is because I've been reading them for probably, it's got to be 13 years now, because Ellis and I, when we started doing the Schmoes Know podcast in very early days, we said, you know what, we'll do a couple episodes that are movie news related, and let's pick up a news thing. So we typed in movie news, and it was the first thing we saw. So we just used Dark Horizons, and we've been using it forever. But let's say, look, we're shitting on him. We don't even know yet.
I'm not shitting on him. I'm just saying the only reason I know him is because of you. So let's see.
I'm going to say he doesn't, but maybe I'm wrong. Jeremy Allen White, the star of FX's acclaimed series The Bear, has officially scored a role in Lucas's upcoming The Mandalorian and Grogu feature. The Insider broke the news. Yeah, I was right. With Deadline confirming it, saying the two-time Emmy winner will provide the voice for the role of Rada the Hutt in the feature. In Star Wars lore, the Hutt is Jabba's son, kidnapped by the Confederacy of Independent Systems during the Clone Wars. Anakin and Ahsoka rescued him and returned him to Jabba. The character appeared in the Clone Wars film released theatrically in 2008 and effectively introduced the Star Wars Clone Wars TV series, which launched in 2008. However, that version was set decades before, so the character will be quite different. The part is said to be a substantial role, not a glorified cameo. Filming wrapped on The Mandalorian and Grogu the other week after months of filming that began in July in California. The wrap comes 18 months after the film's planned theatrical release. White joins the cast, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so no, I was right. It doesn't matter. I'm glad, but as long as you gave Jeff credit, that's really all I care about.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. Yeah. If you click on it, does it bring it to this interview?
No.
He doesn't hyperlink it?
Nobody did that. And I really it was more about I was glad I got the video out here for our subscribers that they were able to see it first, and I told
it's cool. It's just it would be nice. I totally get it.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm more, to me it was more about when I see people not mentioning Jeff's name. About look, you don't mention where he dropped it. That sucks, but you don't mention that he's the one that dropped it. That equally sucks, and more so. But anyway.
Yeah, but especially it hurts extra when it's coming from G-Man, Dark Horizons.
Well, but G-Man at least sourced Snyder, so I'll give him.
Yeah, but that's like you just saying G-Man, but not saying the site.
I know.
And you always say the site, so I'm just saying it hurts me a little bit.
I know. What do you think about this news though overall?
Listen, what's such a blessing and a curse about me when it comes to movies, as you know, is that I'm like Dory or Nemo, whichever one can't remember things. Which one can't? Which
Dory,
can't remember things? Is Dory or Nemo?
Which is perfect that you just said that, but yeah, Dory.
Okay, Dory. I'm like Dory, so I don't remember. I've seen the Star Wars movie, Clone Wars. I don't know, maybe 5 times. I don't remember that storyline. I didn't remember that Luke had his hand cut off. So who am I to remember anything?
No, Roxy, not the movie. You're thinking of Attack of the Clones, right? Here, I remember reading.
Oh, it's from the TV show.
It's from the animated show.
Oh, so I never saw this. Great. No. And I'm stoked to see it.
Yeah.
I was like, when did that happen? In the prequels.
Yeah.
Amazing. I don't remember this because I didn't watch the show.
Well, that would make sense.
So that's great for me. I actually think that's really cute. I want to see a little Jabba search and rescue mission or a little Hutt search and rescue mission.
Well, but I don't think he's going to be little. Like I don't think he's going to be little this time around. He was little in the Clone Wars, and that was years beforehand. So
well, of course, Jeremy Allen White's voicing him. I don't think he's going to be baby,
right,
but right. I don't think he's going to be as big as Jabba. Maybe.
Right. Well, what do you think more so of the cast? I mean, this is. All right, I'll tell you, because even hearing the news, confirming the news, talking about the news afterwards, beforehand with Jeff, it is one of those head scratching things to me, because the first part is okay when you hear Jeremy Allen White is going to be in Star Wars. The first thing you say is that everyone would say if you didn't hear it in the report right away is, oh, maybe he's a Jedi, maybe he's a scoundrel, maybe he's a scoundrel, maybe he's a Sith, maybe he's an Imperial, maybe he's a government person, maybe he's this, maybe he's that. The last thing in the world you're going to think is that he is going to voice a Hutt, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, except for the fact that he's obviously slammed, and this probably opens up his schedule to not have to be there as many days on set. But I'm with you. He always, to me, after Shameless, because I'm completely obsessed with the character Lip, he is a scoundrel to me. He would have been like
right.
a perfect, that would have been perfect, even more so than a Jedi. Although I think he could annihilate being a Jedi as well. This, of course, wouldn't be my dream casting for him. But if that's what he's able to do in this, Christian, I hate how much bigger I am than you right now.
I can't fix it. I don't know how to fix it. It's like, again,
it's like it's Brett my show and I've taken over.
Brett and I were talking about this yesterday because he's going to try to come out here, but I really got to find somebody, a tech person in New York, because like it's driving me crazy. I can't do all of it. I just
Big Brother.
Can you back up though, because you're driving me crazy. It's like you're like the Oz. But it's like, if you do like what used to happen, and it just stopped for no reason. In OBS, it was simple. There was like a little setting that if I just put my finger on the keyboard, I move it over to the right, it just shrinks it, and we're good. Instead, now it does. Oh, now it's going to do it for me. After all the times, now it's finally going to do it for me. After stupid, amazing, amazing. Anyway, so you're still. There you go. Perfect. So what I was
anyway,
yeah,
okay.
what I was
So
saying about,
going back to this, whole point of what I'm saying is you obviously have a much more important opinion on this. I'm sure this is one of, not one of the first times, one of the thousandth times that you have wished that I was Steph sitting here having this conversation with you, because she would have valuable things to say right now as opposed to my very casual viewer perspective.
No, I don't agree with that.
But hit me with what are the fans thinking? Are most of them in line with you? Do people feel like we've already seen this? Why would we watch this again? Where are you actually at with this?
Well,
and do you wish that he was playing somebody else, or is there somebody you would dream cast to play Jabba's kid?
Well, first of all, I don't think you're wrong when it comes to scheduling wise. And he's like, look, I'm a Star Wars guy. It sounds like a fun role. I'll do voice. Why not? Yeah. He's in the Disney family. He's doing the Fox Searchlight Bruce Springsteen thing. He's obviously in the Bear through Hulu and all that stuff. So he's in the family.
And being very likely nominated for Emmys and Oscars in the next with the Bear and all of that. So maybe he looks at Star Wars like it's not his main passion. He just kind of wants it as
or if it is, he's like, listen, I can't come in and be on set as much too, but I'll voice some stuff. I'll do it essentially what Pedro's doing, right?
Yeah.
Sure, no problem. That and you get his voice. I do. I think it's more so. At first, I was like, that's who you're going to get him to play is Hut. It's less about him, and it's like if what I'm hearing is true about like a rescue mission movie, that's the movie. There is a rescue mission bounty hunter movie with Grogu and Mandalorian, and they're going to rescue a Hut, and that's our movie. And there's no. I thought it was going to be a whole lead up to the Thrawn stuff, and they set up the way they set up Luke, and they set up this stuff too. They probably, I think the reports are true that they've completely abandoned even using Luke ever again and doing all those things. It makes me a little less excited for that. Out of all the movies that were coming out, I was looking forward to this one the most, but I'm a little less excited for it.
Can you tell me what it's a lead? You wanted it to be a lead up to Thrawn means?
So Thrawn, you didn't. That's right. You didn't see Ahsoka. So Thrawn in after Return of the Jedi. When the movie came out, there was really no Star Wars for anybody. The thing that everybody got, there were no movies, there were no TV shows. I think there were comics, but the thing that really stole everybody's like imaginations was Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire book trilogy, and it was about Thrawn, and it was like I think people in comments can correct me, but I think it's like 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and Luke is powerful and doing his thing, and Han and Leia are still part of the whole system, and there's like a whole new adventure with this big bad who was Thrawn, and he was essentially one of the Emperor's biggest admirals, but he was Grand Admirals, but he was out fighting another battle, and he wasn't around when all the shit went down, so he comes back, and for 3 books, it was a pretty menacing force. So when they created the new...
I have not ever seen him.
The books?
No, him, Thrawn.
Yes, if you would have watched Ahsoka, then yes.
I haven't seen Ahsoka, so I haven't seen him.
Have you ever seen Rebels?
No.
No. He's in Rebels, and he's in that. He's in Ahsoka.
Okay, bummer. Ahsoka's the only live action Star Wars show I haven't watched. So and I don't think he is. I'm curious if you do watch Ahsoka, because he's a very menacing and calculating villain in the books, the comics, and in Rebels. And I think in Ahsoka, he doesn't come off as devastating as they wanted him to. But it doesn't matter. But the point is, they set him up. The reason they put him in Rebels is because the canon and everything was so different, because those books were no longer canon. So they stuck him in these, and they put him in Rebels and lined him up to the new timeline, and then eventually kind of weaved them into live action. So we thought he was going to be kind of like the Thanos of the new Star Wars lore. And that's what everybody was kind of hoping inside of the Filoni Favreau universe. And look, it might still be the case. Maybe that is what is happening.
I'm just saying that if these particular rumors and reports are true, and they aren't doing that, and they're just doing like these kind of standalone adventures of Mandalorian and Grogu because they want to simplify it and they don't want to overdo it. They just want to give everybody, because season 3 wasn't really Mandalorian and Grogu. Now they're kind of doing because remember, this is very similar to Moana 2. People have to understand that.
Haven't seen it.
But Moana 2 was written as a Disney Plus series. Bob Iger then said, when he came back, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Let's do a movie. I think this is the same thing that happened. Favreau already had, except they shot it and put things together, but this wasn't shot. But Favreau had written season 4 of Mandalorian already. So I think that they just basically said, let's just turn this into a movie. And he was tired of losing money in streaming services and said, let's make this in a movie. We've got enough of an audience now.
Do you think that Jeremy Allen White was going to be in the TV show and that was going to be the season 4 arc, and then they pivoted?
Nah, I think he was brought in after they decided they were going to make it a movie, and adding his voice to it. And I think adding. But
you think that the premise of season 4 was going to be we're rescuing Jabba?
Maybe. I mean, if that's indeed the case, I mean, it could be. I don't know, but that's what it seems like to me. And if that is the movie, look, it's almost like a contradiction, because I think sometimes movies should be more simplified, and it could turn out that it's like, look, they simplified it, they made it a rescue mission movie, and it turned out to be great. It was charming and a great action. It seemed like old school kind of Star Wars and a fun adventure kind of film, and
Right.
it might turn out great. I'm just in this place with Star Wars right now where it's like, what are you doing? Like, it's almost like in Office Space. What is it exactly that you do here? Like, because I don't think they know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think at this point, like you said a couple of weeks ago, there's nothing that they could really announce that would get you excited unless Kathleen Kennedy has an exit plan and that Apple's buying this or whatever. So I don't know that this news could have been a positive for you. For me, it is equally positive as all of the other news, which is just like, oh, cool, okay, yeah. Because and I love Jeremy Allen White, so sure.
Because it's like, it's not your team, right? It's
it's not my team,
right? So like, to me, it's like, I'm not a Red Sox or Patriots fan, and I dislike them. So when things happen to them that are bad, I root for that. But let's say that I didn't do that, and let's say you're like, oh my God, the team is so bad, the management needs to go, and I'd be like, if they're playing a good game, I don't care, because they're playing in a good game. I watched a good game on TV, and it's fine.
You're like, every once in a while, you're putting on the TV, they're there, and you're like, oh, I like a game that's good.
I enjoyed it. So that's how you feel, and I understand that. And just to reiterate, it's and I had this conversation with somebody on the phone last night. It's not Kathleen Kennedy. It's not. It's all of the powers that be that are making the film and TV decisions right now. All of them. Like, it's a regime. It's not one person.
You want them. You don't think that there's any world in which Star Wars can thrive under Lucasfilm anymore?
Under the current film and TV regime, remember, there's a lot of people in the creative on video games and animation. They announced like the Visions team. I think does a great job. The
video movie
games,
and
the comic books. Yeah, but it's television and movies right now that are making like those ultimate decisions. I think that regime is it's time to go. But clearly that's not going to happen. And
what do you think if Mandalorian and Grogu comes out and makes $1 billion?
I think it has a very good chance to do that.
And then, do you still think it's time to go?
Yeah, because it's not because all right. Because the question again is, well, it's ask me that question after the next movie comes out, right? Because I feel, as most people are saying, it seems as if, and I think, I'm hoping I'm not stepping on toes, but I think he put this in his newsletter, because we kind of guessed this already. It doesn't look like the Rey movie is happening in December, right? After that movie, it seems like the following year, it seems like it's going to be the Sean Levy movie, right? And then after that will be the Mangold movie, maybe, or maybe it's the Rey movie, or maybe it's the Kinberg movie. Nobody knows. So when the next movie is announced and whatever that is comes out, it's similar to kind of like what Marvel is in right now. It's like, okay, yeah, you had Deadpool and Wolverine, but now you got Captain America. Can that deliver? And if Captain America then delivers, and then Thunderbolts delivers, and then Fantastic Four delivers, and then the Avengers deliver, then you're like, whoa, boom, just punching back and kicking
gas.
names again. And Star Wars has not had that in a very long time. You know, they had it in 2015 and 2016. They hit with Force Awakens, and they hit. And I'm not talking about money. They hit with the Force Awakens, and they hit with Rogue One, and everybody was on board.
You're not talking about money?
I'm not talking about just money.
Okay.
I'm talking about money plus audience on board. Because it's the same thing with Marvel. Because there's a lot of movies that Marvel has made that that over this last couple phases that have made a lot of money. Like the Doctor Strange movie made almost $1 billion. That pissbox Thor movie made a lot of money. Those movies made money. The question is, did you get everybody on the fan base on board and make money? Did you do both of those things? And The Force Awakens and Rogue One were the last 1-2 punch that Star Wars has done that. Mm-hmm. Because you can't deny that. I mean, there are tons of people who love Last Jedi. There's no doubt about it. But that was the most divisive movie they've ever done. And that was very dividing overall. Solo, again, just kind of a dud. And just people like, I don't mind that movie. And just kind of, kind of like a fart kind of came and went. And then most people dislike Rise of Skywalker. But the fact that those are the last movies that we even got from these people.
Is that true that most people dislike Rise of Skywalker?
I mean, I feel like that's true from mostly what you see is that people don't. I don't dislike it as much as most. I think it's empty calories, cotton candy.
You think most Star Wars fans dislike it, or you think most people?
I mean, most
you
people.
Think most people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, because it's not it's not a great movie, but it's still. The point is,
I'm never most people, but I liked it.
Yeah, good. It was, like I said, it's empty calories and it's cotton candy. It's like it's pretty ridiculous, but it's empty calories and cotton candy. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, so I don't know. We'll see what happens overall. This movie is the one that's going to come out. But if you look at it, the other thing though is that they're making a lot of safe choices currently as they're trying to release movies, right? You got this movie, which let's say it is, hey, John, don't make that a season. Make it a movie. It's a name. The mainstream audience knows the little green guy. They'll call him Baby Yoda. Who cares? Let's sell some toys. Let's get people in the theater. TV, popular, safe choice, right? Let's say that Sean Levy is the guy next. Hey, Deadpool guy, you just made $1 billion. We need you to make a movie for us. Not necessarily a safe choice, but thinking safe choice. Next one is the freaking what's his face? Oh my god,
Taika?
No, not he's not gonna make a movie. What's his name? I can't remember Kimberg. Kimberg's about as safe as you get. And
the trilogy that was announced with him.
It wasn't announced. This is what I want to give them credit. Like they did not announce a trilogy. It was reported in the same way that like some people will say, well, Jeremy Allen White was announced. He wasn't announced. Jeff and I talked about it, and Jeff reported it, and Jeff heard it, and Jeff brought it out and said it, and it's true, but they never announced it. And people do that all of the time, right? They do it all the time. But I believe that Kimberg's story is true, and I think it's about as safe as you get. Because he'll make the movie you want. He's not going to give pushback in the way that every other director has done. The Patty Jenkins, the Game of Thrones guys, the Lord and Miller, everybody that's left projects. Kimberg's going to go, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to make? And he's going to, hey, well, we don't really like that. Can you put a dragon in there instead? Yeah, I'll put a dragon instead. I don't care. That's what Kimberg's going to do for you. And he's not directing; he's producing it. But he's gonna put what they want him to put in there. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I hope the overall idea of Jeremy Allen White being in the movie is great. He's a great actor. So we'll see. And I ask you guys, what do you think, man? Do you like this plan? Do you not like this plan? Do you think that maybe they can turn it around with this stuff? What say you? All right. We're going to get to some more. Roxy, you're at 14 questions thus far.
Wait.
What? You're 14 questions thus far.
But I was at 12 before we started.
I know. They were engaged in our conversation. They didn't put any conversation.
We'll talk about less engaging stuff, Christian.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you are going to have to catch up to Roku. Roku's at what is he at 50 or no 60 something? I don't know. I'll tell you in a second. But I'll tell you when we start. He was 62. But Roxy, you know what's good? Not stinking up the joint.
Chicken?
Well, no, not stinking up the joint. You don't.
That's good.
Yeah, people don't want to do it. You don't want you sitting next. The worst thing in the world, especially when you can't tell somebody, is if you're like, oh my god, pu. I'm sitting next to someone, and it's like, wow, that's not good. Well, Mando, hey Mando, is back, and I love Mando. It is such a great deodorant. It really is, and it really doesn't matter though. You would want to use it on your pits, but if not, you can use. They have stuff for your nuts too. Did you know that? Nope, you didn't know that. Well, now you do. And there's some great. I like how it just lasts for a very long time. It is a whole body deodorant, and it's safe to use anywhere in your body. Like I said, you can use it on your thigh folds and your belly buttons, on your butt crack, anywhere on your feet. Yeah, it was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. So I love Mando. I really do. It comes with they have a new Mando starter pack. It's perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice. Get mini body wash, deodorant types, and free shipping. So as a special offer for our listeners, new customers will get $5 off the starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code Christian at shopmando.com. shopmando.com. You got to support our show and tell them that we sent you. You got to smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Hey, Mando. I really do enjoy Mando a lot. I've been using them for quite a while, and I highly recommend them to you guys. I think that you will benefit, especially it's a great gift. It's a great gift for people. And then the other one is the Perfect Jean. I'm wearing a Perfect Jean for quite a while. It was one of the last things I was wearing when I was at one of my comedy shows, and Roxy said, I like those jeans on you. I said, thank you, Roxy. Because Perfect Jean has been supporting and giving me some wardrobe. Love them. They're so wonderful. They got a good little stretch to them, but I hate the fact that it's like a lot of times you have these jeans that are just so uncomfortable. And right now, the air is frosty. Schedule's packed. My fridge is stuffed, which means one thing. 'Tis the season for the Perfect Jean. Stretchy enough for second or even third helping. Soft enough to go full couch potato and stylish enough to wear to every holiday gathering. The Perfect Jean are, well, perfect for all your winter activities. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. Is this holiday magic or is it just a really well-written ad? Maybe it's both. Seriously, these jeans are really, really great. Perfect Jean has saved 40 plus 360, 400,000 men's nuts from suffocating and stiff, uncomfortable jeans, and that number goes up every single day. I love them. And you want our listeners to get some benefits for the holidays? I'm going to give it to you. Limited time. Our listeners get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at theperfectjean.nyc, or just Google The Perfect Jean and use that code Big Thing for 15% off. That's right, Big Thing 15. Use that code Big Thing 15 at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc. And after you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. You got to support our show, and you tell them that we sent you. F your khakis. That's right. Get the Perfect Jean. Roxy, what are you doing? The air conditioner again?
No.
Oh, right.
You just gotta cite your sources. I love that. You said say who sent you.
Yes.
Unlike what G-Man did.
That's right. Exactly. 100%. All right. So that was two.
And it's the heat, Christian. It is so cold in LA. I can't believe you think I'd be running the AC.
I don't
I'm
know.
freezing.
Is it cold? What this is now I'm going to play that role that I used to have.
I know.
How cold is that?
It's 62.
That's ridiculous. It was 23 degrees here the other day.
My nose is running. It's so cold.
That's so funny. So it's so funny though, because my wife used to say the same thing that you did, right? Which is like, oh my God, 62, it's cold. it was supposed to get to 50 here the other day, and she's like, "Oh my god, thank God it's warming up. It's going to be 50 degrees."
Why are you stuck on me?
I don't know. It was by accident.
Oh,
Sorry. Glad you. Yeah, I'm a little off. Anyway, so we got 16 questions now, Roxy. There you go. Now, even though that news was big yesterday,
yeah.
Umberto, Umberto,
Gonzalez.
yes, formerly known as El Mayambe. He was not to be beat. He said, "I got to let you know. I got to let you know." At least you didn't. Oh, Mike.
What?
Mike, it was nice, dude. Thanks for coming by. I hope you find a new channel. Bye.
Wait, what is happening right now?
Got somebody in the chat I just wanted to get rid of.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
yeah, but is this the kind of thing where you gave the wrong person crap again? Or
no, not this time. Not this time. Because like you said in the beginning of the show, I was like, look, what I wasn't going to do was start complaining about it. And I just wanted people, like, it was more so in the future that if people, anytime, any report that you see, you should credit whoever it is. And he said, well, at least you didn't ruin the scoop by complaining about it the whole time. It's like, you don't get it. And as I said, please, there's so many different shows out there. Go watch that one, please. And I think, because like I said, I think
that's what they said just now.
Yeah, and like I said,
that was 30 minutes ago.
There's tons, guys.
Catch up, Mike.
Yeah. There's tons of new things. Anyway, so let's get to this actual story. And we are going to talk about Chris Evans returning. Chris Evans, we figured this was coming, but Chris Evans is set to. Perfect. I don't know where that came from, but perfect. I got his article, even better, from Umberto. Chris Evans is returning to the MCU as part of the cast for Avengers Doomsday, the highly anticipated sequel that will also star Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. The Wrap has learned exclusively. Evans will be involved in some capacity, but the extent and exact nature of his role is unknown. After sunsetting his Steve Rogers character in 2019's Avengers Endgame, Evans recently made a brief MCU return in this summer's Deadpool & Wolverine. But as his character Johnny Storm from Fox's Fantastic Four movies, not as Captain America. The Russo brothers, who directed both Evans and Downey Jr. in Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame, are returning to direct Doomsday and its director's sequel, Avengers Secret Wars. Avengers Doomsday is slated for release on May 1st, 2026. Evans' return to the MCU has long been rumored in fanboy circles, but Marvel declined to comment. The circumstances of his return are of particular interest, given that his Steve Rogers character was an old man by the end of the Avengers. But Downey Jr. is returning to Marvel as a Tony Stark variant after his... I don't know if that's true. I don't think that's true. He said Downey Jr. is returning as a Tony Stark variant. I don't think that's true. So I'm not going to read that. Evans' team did not immediately respond to the Wrap's request for comment. Evans last appeared as Captain America in 2019 Avengers Endgame. Anthony Mackie is Captain America in the current iteration of the MCU, and next will be seen in the Marvel film Brave New World. What the hell happened? Okay. Are we still seeing that? You're still seeing that, right? Okay.
What are you talking about right now, sir?
Are you not seeing this?
Seeing what?
The article.
Yeah, I see the article.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure because something happened on the other screen.
Okay.
Outside of Marvel, Evans also starred in 2019 Murder Mystery, Knives Out, yada, 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 yada. Anyway, so this is, I think to me, a lot of no-does because the first is what he mentioned. The only thing is that I'm fairly sure that Downey, and they've said that Downey is not coming back as a Stark variant. He's coming back as Dr. Doom as a different person altogether. Maybe that turns out to be not true. I don't know, but that's what I thought, and I thought it was said. However, what is Russo brothers directing and probably were able to get him back. He said that he wanted to come back if the circumstances were right. It seems like it would make sense in the overall side of it. How he comes back after being an old man, because of the variant side of it, they could get a different Cap that hasn't aged out. There's ways to do it for sure. So, and I think that the idea of, and I wonder if they're going to do it this way, and I feel like they are. Because Tom Holland obviously going to have a big role in these movies, right? So the idea that Doom looks like Tony Stark, but is not Tony Stark, is still going to mess with somebody. Like if there was somebody that looked like someone you loved and it was complete a-hole, but you loved this person was a good person, did so much stuff, and was the savior of the world, right? and yet there's someone who look just like him doing heinous shit. It's still going to mess with you mentally, right? So, and then given the relationship that both Stark and Rogers had, it makes sense. But what do you think about this? You think they're just going to the well?
I think that when Chris Evans was done, he was like, guys, I need a minute. Like, I just need a minute. So even though it's as a completely different character, when he came back for Deadpool and Wolverine, and then he was so well received, I think he kind of probably felt a little at home with the fans and was like, oh yeah, I love this feeling. And I think it was already speculated and rumored that once we got Robert Downey Jr. back, not to play the same role, but back in the MCU, that this might be a direction that we were going in, that we're going to be moving forward, keeping people, bringing people back. Fan service, I don't mean that in a bad, negative way, but just like trying to give the people what they want after the most recent movies weren't necessarily working for the majority of audiences. So I'm not kind of like you said, the no duh aspect of it all. Not surprised by it at all. I think there could be a really cool way to do this. I think when first Robert Downey Jr. was announced, it seemed like there was a lot of positive because of the way he was announced, because of that room that he was in, because of everybody watching live being like, holy crap. In the coming weeks or the following weeks, it seemed like people actually weren't excited about that casting and they didn't wish that happened. And I'm curious how the perception is about Chris Evans today versus what it's kind of like in a month from now.
Yeah. I know that people are going to say it, and I understand why they would say it, of the fact that, they're going to the well, they have to do this. Why are they doing this? And I don't know. I don't necessarily know if that's the right way to approach it, because I think that I do think that it makes sense in the same way. Look, going back to what we said with Star Wars, right? When there were so many people that when Luke Skywalker made it to the Mandalorian season, was it season 1 or season 2? I can't remember. Season 2. It was the end of season 2 when he shows up, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're going back to the well. They need Luke Skywalker. They're going." I was like, "No."
Is that what people thought? I thought this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
There were not everybody. The majority of people were like you. It was like that was awesome. Luke's back. That's great. But there was a loud bunch of people that were like, "Oh, you got to go with Luke. It should have been Plo Koon. It should have been somebody else. It should have been a different Jedi. It doesn't need to be Luke." It's like, yes, it needs to be Luke because of where they are in the timeline. They're in a timeline where he'd be the most powerful Jedi. It's only years after Return of the Jedi. He's out learning his powers. He would sense this thing. And if he didn't, then he shouldn't be the most powerful one. And it would make sense. Plus, it's a big moment, and he shows up, and it was great. Minus the lack of John Williams music. They should use it a little more, but that's just me. However, that's why the same thing for this. I think that Chris Evans could absolutely show up in this, and it makes sense overall because this is the end of the multiverse stuff. Like, multiverse stuff's you gotta put an end to it after this. And they're gonna do a big, huge greatest hits parade, but make it make sense.
How big of a role do you think he has in this?
Great question. I don't know. I don't know because it was probably, what did they say? I don't know if they said it here. Did they say the first one? The second question, the second movie. They said the second movie that he's going to show up in. If it's the second movie, I bet you it's substantial. If it's the first movie, I don't think that big. I think it's going to really focus on Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland's going to be like the big star of this. These movies are going to, like, I wasn't sure at first how they were going to make Avengers movies and be like, oh, they're going to make, $1 billion like the other ones. This is the reason why they're doing this. They're doing this. They're bringing back everybody because it's going to be almost 10 years since Infinity War when they put these things out.
That is so crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
What about Anthony Mackie?
Let's see what happens in this movie. And that doesn't mean that Anthony Mackie won't be able to team up with Evans and maybe look.
No, I just mean when you say Tom Holland, like you're not.
Nah, Mackie won't be the star of this movie. Of these movies, no. I plus the fact because I don't think that the Captain America is testing very well, the new one.
I don't know anybody who's seen it.
It's being tested, and not I don't know any critics or anybody who's seen it, but from the testing, they did a testing of it way back, And they went, whoa, and they reshot the whole damn thing. And then I heard, and there's been a few reports, you can look it up, that they did it again, and it's not testing good again. And so they're trying to do some more reshoots. So this movie's going to be the most expensive Marvel movie they ever made, by the way. So I don't know, but I don't see Mackie being the lead of the Avengers movies. No.
Do you think that bringing Chris Evans back, if he is in a Captain America variant or whatever, however they do him, if he is Cap, do you think that kind of undermines what they're doing with Anthony Mackie right now?
Depends on gotta see what Brave New World's all about.
Yeah,
you got to see how they set it up and how and like I said before, and that just furthers my point, right? Which is, does it make sense? Like, does it make sense if you and I let's say that I'm in LA for that week, and I'm like, all right, Rox, let's go see the movie, and we go see the movie, and then we're watching and we see the debut of Evans and how they do it, or reintroduction rather, and we look at each other and we go, okay, that made sense, or we go, it seemed like they were kind of undermining what they just did there with Anthony Mackie. You can't really say yet until you see it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I ask you guys, what do you think about this? You think that this is nostalgia for nostalgia purposes? Do you think that this is a good plan because of the multiverse? Do you think it can work out? What say you? Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. Trying to think right now. Where's Roxy at 21? We can do.
Ooh, she's getting hammered.
Come on.
She's 21, so.
Come on.
Shots.
Yeah, but
you got
the words sometimes, Roxy. The words.
It's because 21, hammered, drunk.
Yeah, but that's not what dirtbags like me think. All right, let's see. So the first one here, I want to go back to our buddy.
Who's our buddy? G-Man?
Yeah, the G-Man.
Yeah, of course he is. G-Man from Dark Horizons. This we know.
Yes. I didn't see 28 Years Later trailer, so I can't really speak on that. What else? I haven't played the Indiana Jones game. The Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim reviews are in. Oh, I heard you. So you sent me a great text the other day. Tell me about it.
No, they haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you don't want to talk about it yet?
I can't.
Oh, you can't. Not allowed to?
No, I make a mistake in I made a mistake in an upcoming Hobbit reaction, and I catch myself after about 15 minutes making the mistake. And I just already have that pre-anxiety that I'm going to get absolutely hammered. Christian, this has been like the worst experience ever.
I'm sorry.
It's so wild because I've never loved something so much,
right,
and felt so attached and connected.
Were you afraid to watch the Hobbit movies?
Yes.
Oh, it sucks.
I'm so glad I watched all of the Lord of the Rings movies before the people started responding, because it would have destroyed it for me. And now watching the Hobbit movies, I feel like that's why I made the mistake. I feel like I'm so hyper aware and it's not fun.
Can you cut it out, or is this it's too clear?
No, I make 50 comments.
Oh, so you just there's no way to cut it out.
I literally go in and then another one and then another one. And I was like, and when I realized, I'm like, oh no. And I turned to Tara and I say, why didn't you correct me?
Did she not know?
I guess I was so sure that she was like, wow, I guess that's what that is.
That's too bad. That's unfortunate.
So people will see it, but it's like, it's been such a bummer. Like, okay, they dropped the new Lord of the Rings. I think the third. Did they drop the third one? Yeah. And I had posted my holiday Instagram posts at the same time, unrelated, because I just got on a holiday bar crawl with my friend Ashley, who you know. We had the greatest time. It was so cheerful. And immediately people started coming to my Instagram like, you're an idiot. You're the worst reactor for Lord of the Rings. You dumb bitch. What's your IQ? Wow. It was like, I hate this.
I know.
You guys are so mean. And you missed the point of the whole movie.
Your problem also is that you can't stay away from the comments. So you're going to.
But they're coming to me.
I know, but you mean they're directly to your.
That was my Instagram.
Yeah. That's horrible. That's horrible.
It's just been crazy. And there's been a lot of love too. And so many people pushing back against the hate. They're just like, what are you guys talking about? She's watching this for the first time and react. It is all because I didn't like that one character, Theoden. whose name I still don't know how to say. Theoden, whatever.
You came close the first time. But
no, I'm not good at that.
I think from what you told me, it was. I think it might be less of a reaction than what you think.
I think if you heard the things that
Oh, really? Okay, maybe not. Well, there'll be another movie soon enough that they can yell at you about.
I was like, fuck.
I know.
Fuck.
Well, that's how. Look, so I've been having a rough like week and a half because I started to feel ill on I think it was last Thursday, and so I don't even care. I can tell people now too because I'm all by myself. I wound up testing positive for COVID. And I was like, yeah. And what's so crazy is
on Thursday?
No. So on Thursday, I was really feeling beat out of it. I started like getting ill. And I'm like, all right, I powered through. I did a reaction, went home, crashed really, really badly. And woke up.
It's crazy how fast it comes on. All of a sudden it's like, fuck.
Well, but listen, this was the weird thing is about it. So I'm there. I'm doing. I wake up in the morning. I go on my walk with the dog, and it was like and I wasn't feeling any like I'd gotten it once for March of 2023, and that time it leveled me. I was like couldn't get out of bed. A walk up the block felt like I was walking Mount Everest. Like it was brutal. I didn't feel like that at all, so I never even thought. I get freaking a lot congestion inside, so I thought it was that. So I'm like, I can't get to the doctor. My wife's like, you got to get to the doctor. I was like, I got to work. I got to do some things. She's like, you're an idiot. You got to go. I was like, by the time I get a doctor's appointment, who knows what it's going to be? She goes, then just go to urgent care. So I go to urgent care, and they listen to me.
You get Paxlovid?
Listen to me. At this point, I don't even know that I have COVID. All right. So when I go in there. And they said, because I'm not feeling, I had a cough. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he asked me, he said, do you want to take a COVID test? I'm like, I don't need to take, I don't have COVID. Like I knew, because I was like, I know what my symptoms were last time. I don't have any of those. I'm like, no. So they gave me like a nose spray and like a thing to clear up the mucus, which helped. And so 5 days into it, then both my daughters get sick. Sadie gets sick. And I'm like, oh, so I clearly got people sick. So yesterday, as I'm coming into work, my wife goes, do me a favor, because I was feeling better. I'm still like, I'm like I am now.
It's not a fair assessment to say you got people sick, though. You weren't trying, no, that's what happens.
They got sick from me. So yesterday, I'm headed to work, and my wife goes, do me a favor. She goes, just take a COVID test. I was like, I'm feeling better now. I don't have COVID. And so she gives me, because my little one got sick. So she gives me the test, and I go, my oldest got sick, and I had to go pick her up from school before I go to work now. So I go to get her, and my wife goes, you tested positive. I was like, great. So that means everybody else got it too. So my wife takes the little one to the doctor yesterday. None of them have it. Not one of them. Nobody got it except me. Bright red. And I'm like, I'm quarantined in my office away from everybody. And it was like,
They just all have a separate cold?
I don't know what they got, but they don't have COVID. They tested twice. Nothing. Me? I was like, maybe the test was fucked up for me. Bright red both times. I don't understand. And like I said, you can hear I'm like a little congested, but I'm not like, I feel fine.
Yeah. Different variants and whatnot. Yeah. And it's you're very trendy right now, Christian. Yeah. Everybody's got it.
Look, I'm missing the Craven movie tonight because of it. Because I don't want to.
That sucks.
I don't want to go on a subway and get people sick. I don't want to go.
No, obviously,
yeah,
and
a theater. I can go to a theater and get people sick. So it's like, yeah, that's why I'm like all by myself here, like with nobody around, because I can just quarantine, be by myself, and still the beauty of being able to have the show, talk to you, do this. I was supposed to shoot something with Sarah, supposed to do 2 more reactions. So it's like, yeah, the whole thing's so stupid.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. But the whole reason I brought that up is that I had all these movies that I was going to do immediate reactions to, reviews, other things. Like I had seen the Timothy Chalamet movie, which I did an out of the theater reaction to, but I wanted to do a review. I wanted to see where that embargo dropped, and there are a couple. Did
it drop?
I know the social dropped. I don't know if the embargo. I haven't checked yet.
What did you say on social?
I liked it a lot. I really liked it a lot. Did you see it?
Okay. No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. And then,
But I am seeing Craven tonight.
okay. The other one was the Lord of the Rings animated movie, right? And that one I just finally finished. I put the immediate reaction rather up on the channel, and the reviews are in for that one. I haven't done a full review, but this is what Dark Horizons summarizes here, and they say that Warner Brothers Pictures is set to release its animated fantasy feature, Lord of the Rings: War of Rohirrim, on Friday, and the reviews for the title, which has had the input of Peter Jackson's team, are now in. 29 reviews counted. The film is at 62%. Oh, I don't agree with that at all. And an average rating of 6.2 out of 10. What do these people want? I don't understand what they want. The story is similar on Metacritic, where it stands at 59 out of 100. I think this is going to be a fan-loved movie, and a critic's no. Excuse me. The decidedly mixed reviews combined with box office prospects that look dire. That I agree with. I don't think it's going to do very well. The movie premiered in 30 markets late last week and managed to rustle only 2 million by end of Sunday. Let's see. I don't want to read these critics' things. I don't want to read them. I'll tell you why. I'm so not.
You were so tapped. You were like, no.
I'm just not in line with critics anymore, Roxy. I read like 3 critics' reviews of everything. I'm like, I'm so not in touch with critics. The way that they break down movies. Look, I love Bibiani. I've worked with him for years. I saw his review and I'm like, oh, it's such a critic review. And he'd be like, yeah, that's what I am, 100%. But
when I was walking out of Wicked, and now he said what the thing is that he said, but Bibiani was walking with Alonzo behind him, and I was like, did you like Wicked? And Bibiani was like, talk to the person behind me. And Alonzo, who never knows who I am, no matter how many times I introduce myself, and still in this moment I have no idea who I was, which drives me effing nuts because I really like him. Yeah. But anyway, he was like, hated it. And the way he was like, Wicked? Started like being like, I mean, I don't understand, whatever it was. And then I heard that he started talking about it on the show, saying that he really didn't like it. And I was like, what? I'm just so, and so that was the only person I talked to leaving Wicked. I'm sitting bawling in my chair, and that's the first interaction I have. And I was like, oh my God, did the critics not like it? Thank God the rest of the critics did like it. He was like the only one who didn't.
Right.
But I'm so not aligned with the way that people start immediately to break down and process, as opposed to like, all I talk about is how a movie made me feel.
Yeah.
And you guys know, even like we mentioned Rise of Skywalker a minute ago.
Right.
And do I know what happened? Can I tell you all of the plot points in all of the movies that I've seen? No, almost none of them. Movies go in and out. Television, yes, I could break down exactly what happened in it. But movies, I watch them, and then I know if I liked it or not based on how I feel.
Right.
Based on what's in my soul. Whether I feel happy or sad, or it makes me emote, or whether I related. Yeah. That's what I remember. I remember how I felt.
You review it through how you felt, and which I think is great. Then, and to be fair to them, they are, as critics, breaking
100%.
down, breaking down
to
in
be
the way.
Fair to them, yes. To be also fair to them, remember who I am, please, dear God.
Fair enough. I love Alonzo.
I know everybody loves him.
So, but this is why when I saw Lord of the Rings, the animated, I was expecting piss, and it's not. I don't think so. The violence is like straight out of Game of Thrones. The violence in this thing, yeah. And I enjoyed the story, and I felt like I was back in the Peter. It's the most back in the Peter Jackson world I felt since Return of the King. Every other movie that tried to do it in Hobbit didn't feel like that. This TV series feels like an alternate universe, doesn't feel like anything related to it at all. So I don't know. I liked it. I'm curious what people think when they see this, but I enjoyed it.
Why is it not doing well?
I don't know if anime is a big seller for people. I don't think anime I wonder how it didn't, and in fact, especially it didn't do in Japanese markets. But I don't think that it. I don't think it's going to do well here, and I also think, and I don't think that the TV show helped it either, because like the casual fan doesn't realize that it's not related. Where I was talking to Matt Serra, and Matt Serra hates the animated, the Amazon show, can't stand it, right? And he goes, I don't want to see that. It's the same thing as the people who made that. I go, no, it has nothing to do with that. He's like, it's more of that. And he's like, all right, maybe I will see it. So it's, and there's a lot of people that are like that, and I don't know if that's the only reason, but there's a lot of other things out there to see. So I don't know. Did you wind up seeing Moana 2? You said no, right?
I still haven't seen it.
That's interesting.
I'm behind on things.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
When does the Bob Dylan movie come out?
Fairly soon. I think in the next couple of weeks. Definitely in December. Yeah.
I wasn't invited to that either.
You'll love it. You'll love it.
I'm sure I will.
You'll love it. All right. I think that's the majority of everything that we get. Now we got to get to some TV stuff, Rock. So let's get into it. Let's do TV, and then we'll get into some questions. 27 questions. I think you can beat Roka at 62. We'll see. But
Let's go, baby.
let's start with this one. Go ahead.
Okay, it's only because I know I've spoken to you guys about Superman and Lois before, but I watched the finale and I told you guys I would circle back once I watched the finale. I thought it was so beautiful. It's such a beautiful job with it. It really brought the whole show home for me. And I watched the first season and the second season of this. I fell off of a third season and then I came back for this fourth season. And I'm so glad I did. It made me really feel, I think this is the kind of thing that that some people might describe as emotionally manipulative, which I've never understood. All art manipulates your emotions, but they painted an entire picture of Clark's life moving forward. And I love that they decided to do that. It made me feel better about life and death and moving forward. And I thought that they did a great job with the finale.
Okay. So then follow up the Superman and Lois. Oop, that's not it.
Could be.
Nope, could be. And then after that is
Okay, The Ultimatum is this show on Netflix that I'm obsessed with. For you guys who don't watch trash television, and I call it that lovingly because I do really adore it. This is a show where couples who've been together for like 2 to 3 years, one of them wants to get engaged, the other does not. So the one who wants to get engaged gives the ultimatum that they're going to go on to the show, and it's an experiment, and they either leave engaged or they break up forever. So what they do is they date other people on this show, and you get into a trial marriage with somebody else's partner. And then you decide whether you're going to be with that person's partner, nobody, or get engaged to your partner. It is as bizarre as it sounds. They dropped the first 6 episodes or 5 episodes on Netflix. There is so much drama and tea. If you love dating shows, dating shows, reality shows, anything, if this sounds interesting, it is interesting, but it's also really gross and very upsetting at times.
all right. Well, that's something I don't know if I'm going to be watching, but
No, it's not for you.
No.
Okay, Jamie Foxx, I was looking over the Golden Globe nominations, and Jamie Foxx's special was nominated. And I was like, wait, I missed a Jamie Foxx Netflix special? And then I realized that it didn't come out until last night. So I waited to watch it last night. And it was very well done. I will say this, it's extremely religious.
Oh.
So I am not religious, and therefore this was not the kind of comedy that I can relate to. It felt like, and I've never been to church, so give me grace on this, but this felt to me like what I think a really cool church would feel like. Like it was like he was making jokes, but it was always coming back to God and God. It was interesting because we all know about the fact that Jamie Foxx had something medically happen to him, kind of fell off the map. We didn't know what. He reveals in this what happened, what his recovery period was like, and he did such a good job with this. It was so Jamie Foxx. He did so many impersonations in it too. I was blown away by the quality of this. Blown away by the quality. But again, it is extremely God-focused. So if that doesn't sound like you would like it, then I would skip it. But if you think that you can, if that's for you, then definitely watch this.
All right. Next one.
Somebody Somewhere is a show I've mentioned to you guys before, but this was the series finale, and it is one of the most underrated shows that's on television. This is an HBO show, and man, it's simple, it's sweet, it's funny. It really pulls at your heartstrings. The woman you just saw on screen, it's essentially about, she was the caretaker to one of her sisters for a long time. And when that sister passes away, what the rest of her life kind of looks like, and what her relationship with her other sister looks like, what dating is like, what getting close to people is like. But it is a dark comedy. It's also about her and her gay bestie who, like, what happens when one of them is dating somebody else? What does a friendship look like when you're single versus when you're in relationships? So it is a very, very basic concept that is just executed brilliantly. And I always recommend this to people who watch a ton of television, because if you're like, I've watched so much TV, I don't know what to watch next, chances are you haven't seen this show and it will be up your alley.
Okay, and that's on HBO Max.
Yes.
All right.
I put Creature Commandos on here because I don't know if we were able to talk about this last week. I don't think I watched it, and you had already seen it, and I had seen your Frank Grillo interview, but I hadn't watched it because it came out on Thursday. So I've seen the first 2 episodes like you guys have at home, and I don't know, man. I know that this is really up your alley. I thought that the second episode was so upsetting to me.
Which one? Which remind me, because they'll blend together.
The second episode. Oh yeah, because you've seen more than me.
Yeah.
Second episode was with the bride, and
yeah. Okay.
It was so upsetting to me that I like had a hard time getting through it. And I was thinking going into this, I was thinking that I was going to be watching another like Harley Quinn animated series, which is just so fun and raunchy and like diabolical. It's just so great. This show is equally raunchy. It's just, it was not fun for me in that second episode. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep watching it, but I was a little bothered by it. So I'm curious how it does in the future for me.
Oh, all right. Let's see. Next one after that, final one.
Silo's going to be on my list every single week until the show's off, the same way that I do with any of my number one favorite shows, like I did with Shogun or like I'll do with Severance. That's what I do with Silo, because I will talk about it until every single one of you guys are watching it. It is so good. Everybody's told me I need to get my eyes checked, that I couldn't see that first episode. Let me tell you this last week, bitch, I couldn't see that either. So I have to seriously go up to the television because it's so dark. But the premise of the show is amazing. The character development is incredible. I am glued to the screen with what has happened in season 2. And I won't give spoilers because I know a lot of you guys haven't started it yet. This show is the best show on TV when it's on. And right now is no exception.
All right. So there you go. Roxy's TV picks. Make sure you check them all out and let her know in the comment section what you've been checking out and what you have been looking at. And I tell you the same thing when it comes to our wonderful sponsors. And I've been telling you guys so much. I've been telling you over and over again about Hello Tushy. I love it. And it makes me feel classy. It should, because it's just so old school to rip your butt up with some tissue paper. Come on. Now, I'm going to ask you, is it selfish or is it brilliantly anti-capitalist to gift your one true love something that also benefits you? When it is a bidet, by the way, everybody wins, because the gift of a clean booty keeps giving life. It really does. It's just, it's like when you walk into my place, you go, oh, you got one of those. And it's a conversation starter. I've gotten, I think, like over the course of how many years, I've gotten 3, and I gave one to my brother, and everybody loves them. Everybody talks about them. Everybody always wants, well, where do you get these? What do you do? How do you get them? And they're so easy to put together. And the best part is that Tushy Bidet is dropping deep discounts on Bidet Life essentials that'll transform your bathroom habits and your butt for life. Now is the time to back away from boring gifts and dirty habits to save on luxury lifestyle upgrades that you will use every day. So if you visit hellotushy.com, you'll see this week's saving on bidets, bundles, and instant bathroom upgrades. So washing with precise stream of fresh water removes 99% of bacteria compared to wiping with toilet paper. I guess you didn't know that. Well, now you do. I let you know. And that's the whole point. So if you want to get a great deal, and who doesn't like getting great deals? You got to give the gift of practical luxury that benefits everyone. You go to hellotushy.com/bigthing. Grab your deal before it's gone. And don't forget, you got to give us a shout out while you're there and let them know that we sent you. You got to go to hellotushy.com/bigthing for the best gift this holiday season. It is absolutely the gift that keeps on giving. Roxy?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Now.
All right, you're going to start to try to become a 2-week champion. You got to beat Roka this week to do it. You're 31 going into. I think he was in the same range when we started yesterday. So you got a good shot. If people,
all right, I'm a good person to ask questions to. Let's see how it goes.
So if people want you to beat Roka, you got to get to 62. So you just got to get.
It's not about beating Roka.
No, well, it's always about beating Roka, isn't it?
It's about being the best me that I can be.
Perfect. Okay. Well, let's start with this one. Daniel Breen. who says, Roxy, can you? Oh, this is gonna be tough. But he's not asking right now. He's asking in general. Can you give us a top 10 TV shows of the year? Are you going to do that on this channel or will you do it on the World Girls?
I always post on my social media every year at the end of the year, my top 10. But I'm sure, of course, I'll talk about it both here and the World Girls. We did actually World Girls last week. We did best television of 2025. Sorry, of 2024. And yeah, the 2025 would be amazing. I'm a future seer.
Yeah.
So if you want to know a bunch of the shows that I like, but yeah, top 10, I usually do end of the year. And I'm sure I'll talk about it for TV picks here.
Yeah.
As well.
So it's there's this stupid video on Instagram. This guy, he's walking around. He's like, I'm a fortune teller. He's like, watch. So Roxy, I'm gonna ask you, Roxy, where do you live right now? Where do you,
in a home.
No, where? Where do you live? In what place? What city?
Okay, in Los Angeles.
And that's part of Los Angeles,
California.
Fortune teller. He's so stupid. It's so dumb. He's like, I'm a fortune teller, bitch. And he walks away. And I was like, it's the stupidest bit of content. And I watched
so good.
minutes and minutes of it. I got another one for you. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I eat mop.
I'm not doing it.
Come on.
I'm not doing it.
You know what it is?
Yeah, obviously.
I got everybody on that except you.
Anybody with a P and who?
You don't do it. All right. Ian Davis. Christian, I love the MCU reactions that you do with Sam. Did I tell you that Sam loves you? Did I tell you that?
No.
She loves you. Yeah. And you liked Sam from Collider Live.
I did.
Yeah. Roxy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, in my opinion, is the greatest trilogy of all time. Can either of you think of 3 movies that work better than Lord of the Rings? I know the first 3 Bourne movies do. I don't know if they're as they kind of combine as one big movie.
I love the TDK trilogy. I also love the Before trilogy. I think that the Lord of the Rings trilogy, though, after watching it, despite the fans, I think there's definitely an argument for the fact that it's the best trilogy of all time.
And the original trilogy, Star Wars trilogy, is an argument too.
100%. There's things that I'm like, I wouldn't fight anybody on that, and I wouldn't fight anybody if they said Lord of the Rings best trilogy of all time. I wouldn't fight you on that.
Yeah. All right, Mike Joyce, the great Mike Joyce. I don't know who the internet hates more, Roca for his James Gunn take, or Roxy for her opinion on Theoden. Fanboys can be so whiny.
Theoden.
Listen,
when Theoden in the 3rd movie, as you can see, did what was right, I was like, good job, Theoden. You've really had a good arc. But people were like, the Theoden slander. I mean, really, truly, like, the amount of jerking off of Theoden the fanboys did is disturbing. Disturbing.
Hilarious. Mike Joyce follows. What's better, Dune 2 or Wicked? I guess if I can predict, I think Roxy can predict mine, and I think I can predict Roxy's.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, Christian likes Wicked more.
That's right. And Roxy loves Dune, too.
Yeah.
Ewok. I want Rey to use the world between worlds to stop Luke from almost killing young Kylo, thereby undoing the events of the sequel trilogy, cast Sebastian Stan as Luke, and start a new trilogy with him. In order for that to happen, they would...
Cast
what?
Sebastian Stan as Luke?
Have you ever seen them side by side?
I could see it a little.
Oh, there's pictures of it. It's uncanny.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's been around for quite a while, and they've asked Sebastian Stan about it countless amount of times. But I think I'm telling you, like, they made some. It is cool, but they made Kathleen Kennedy made some stupid mandate about not having Luke Skywalker in things anymore and doing that, and they wouldn't the world between worlds. They didn't explain it well enough in Ahsoka, so unfortunately, I can't see that ever happening. Ewok. Also, if Jeremy Allen White is accepting a voice role in Star Wars, then he could be holding out for something bigger within Disney, like Wolverine. It means, I don't know about holding out, but it means he'd be able to do that if he wanted to. He could do another Marvel one, or he could do another Star Wars one if he wanted to.
Are people talking about him being Wolverine?
He's got the build. I mean, Wolverine is supposed to be like shorter. He's shorter.
I really think he would be a great Wolverine.
He'd be great.
Actually.
He'd be great. Yeah, he'd be great. Michael, you and Brett are like Bud and Doyle from Biodome. Yeah, maybe. Michael, Roxy, I watched my old ass. I understand it now.
So good.
That's going to be in your top
Still
10.
one of my favorite movies of the
I was
year.
going to say, that's going to be in your top 10, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. El Baba Yaga.
Although once the Golden Globes were announced, I was like, I haven't seen any of these.
Nobody did. El Baba Yaga. Love y'all, Roxy. Since you love Gladriel, you watch Rings of Power. It's all about her and Elrond and fills in a lot of lore in the world you enjoy. I am interested to see what you think about the Amazon show. Maybe you'll like it because you.
I think my next step would be watching the extended editions.
Yes, before the TV
So,
show,
yeah.
100%. Yeah, because the TV show, as I said before, it doesn't like Peter Jackson. Even though it's all Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson has his universe of Lord of the Rings, and the animated one I just talked about is in there. The Hobbit movies, those ones, the original trilogy, obviously, the Gollum movie is coming out. They all fit in his world. This is a multiverse Lord of the Rings thing, because even from origins things and everything too. So you can't compare it when you watch it like, oh, but in the movie this happens. The characters are all there, but it's a multiverse type thing.
And I do love Galadriel, but it's because it's Kate. She's not in Rings of Power, right?
No.
So I don't know.
The character, but not her. No.
Yeah.
Roman Fedorak. Hey, KH and the champ. Congrats, Rox.
Woo, 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 woo,
Rox, you
woo.
need 30 to beat Roka today.
Okay.
Roman, in your opinion, what are some of the biggest Oscar misses / snubs? Also, Roxy, any underrated films from this year that you recommend? Thank you. As far as biggest Oscar misses and snubs, I would have to say that as much as I think Mark Rylance was great, Stallone should have won for Creed. I thought it was a great performance for what he did, revisiting that character and being able to still keep Rocky relevant in the way that he did and vulnerable. I would say Stallone got snubbed as far as winning.
This is such a random deep cut.
Yeah.
But this is always, when I think of the thing that I was most disappointed about in the Oscars, it was when Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't nominated for Nightcrawler. Not only did he not win, but he wasn't nominated. And Jake Gyllenhaal continuously gets tons of snubs from the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is one of the best actors of our generation. He is so good in that movie. And to not be nominated, I thought that was a
Did you
great
say for
choice.
Nightcrawler?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree 100%. Yeah, he should have been nominated for sure.
That's such a random snub because there's been so many bigger snubs.
That was a big one, for sure. Pete Parker, 2288. Bibiani called War over him the fourth best Lord of the Rings animated movie. Oh, even worse. I feel like once again you two disagree. Also, for Roxy, Hail Theoden King. Hilarious.
Listen, at the end, I was like, good job, bro.
Yeah. Bibiani and I are never gonna agree on movies. He likes I don't think his opinions, by the way, are fabricated. You know what I mean? Like, he's not saying it because he wants to get a reaction. He likes weird shit. Like, he just there's times that he'll, like, I know when there's something really weird, really bizarre, and like, you know, like certain movies, like he loves those Ewok movies, right? And thinks they're great movies. They're not great movies. They're fine. And the second one is terrible. But the first one's fine, the Endor movies, and I loved them as kids. But he's like, that's one of the best Star Wars movies ever. I'm like, I feel like he believes that, but I don't know. Sean Monk, always work during live. I've been watching since Toad Hop. Thank you, Sean. Supporting
So cool.
Roxy. Got to be Hydra Cap, right? Evil Variants. That's a good call, too.
I think very likely.
That's a good call.
And that would be cool to see that.
Yeah.
But then they're kind of doing the same thing with him that they're doing with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Which is still cool.
But it'd be interesting to see now. But it would answer your question. It would answer your question of Anthony Mackie.
Because then it doesn't take away from what they're doing.
Doesn't take it away from it all. He essentially has to step up and beat Steve Rogers this time around. So maybe that's the deal. Maybe that's the deal. Mike Joyce. Roxy should check out Rings of Power again. She might like it. You tried watching it, right? Is that what happened?
I watched the pilot of season 2 for DJ for Only Stupid Answers.
Right, you had never seen the movie, so you
no.
Right. She might like it after watching Hobbit, Lord of
the
Rings.
I said to DJ, "This is so unfair. I don't know. I can't. I don't know anybody."
Right. Season 1 ended strong, and season 2 was great. Plus, sexy Sauron.
Sexy Sauron.
Yeah, it's a lot to explain. It's a lot to explain, and it's a lot to explain. All right, let's see. So now we are
The show is about Sauron
no.
before he was
You
Sauron.
got you got to ignore it. You got to ignore that comment.
Okay.
You got to ignore it. All right. So Meat Mog, can all your sponsors team up like the Avengers? That'd be great. You guys get all of them. I'll tell you, it's funny because that's why, especially during the holiday season, like I remember it was like 2-3 days ago, someone on Instagram said like, "Hey, does it really help if we use your code?" I was like, it is the sole reason that we're able to keep doing this show daily is because people keep getting sponsors and keep getting them, and they keep coming back. Like AG1 signed up again for next year. You know, like we got Rocket Money coming back, and I'd love to have Hello Tushy come back, and I'd love to have all these other the Perfect Gene and Mando and them all come back. You know, so get them for sure. Okay, Mike Joyce. Hey Roxy, the chat keeps talking about it now, and I'm curious. What is your secret? You've looked more stunning than usual this show and last week's show. Very nice.
That's one secret I'll never tell. Yeah. I don't know. I have been really working on my skincare game, so nice. And I really I don't wear much anything on top of it. So maybe it's because my skin's looking decent.
That'll do it.
Also, like I talked about last week, I think it's because I'm not dating and I'm super happy. So.
That's right. That'll keep you.
It makes me happier just to not be wasting my time.
Dancing Dog 60. Hey Roxy, any place like the Kowloon out in California? Kowloon?
Oh, in Boston. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? No.
All right, that's a good answer. Brian O'Neill.
It's not a good answer.
No, it's a good answer. If there isn't. Brian O'Neill.
Not that I can think of.
Big Shameless fan. Lip is my favorite character and always wanted Jeremy Allen White in Star Wars. Old Republic, please. Yeah, not why Filoni's there. But not like this. I have no interest in this Mando movie. Yeah, I know. But let's see what turns out to be the real story.
I just wanted to double check, and they are talking about. I think what I think they're probably talking about going back. The Kowloon is not a place that I went growing up, but is like a very notorious Chinese food restaurant.
Oh, is it?
Chinese food in LA sucks.
Yeah.
If they're talking about what I think they're talking about.
Maybe. Star Wars overall. Thoughts on another Hut speaking basic. That's a good call too. I didn't even think about that until I saw that person asked that. I'm not a big fan when aliens talk basic, which is English, rocks, in Star Wars world. And I don't like it.
Oh, that's a real term?
Yeah, basic is the Star Wars for English. But it's I'm not a big fan of it. So the fact that we're gonna have, and that's the other thing is,
what do you want Jeremy Allen White's voice to sound like?
Well, he can't do boom wacha hum baga doom zaba.
I guess he could,
but then why do you get him? You spend that kind of money on him, you kind of have to have him talking basic. So, I guess he went to college and Jabba didn't. So yeah,
Jabba made sure his son was educated.
Yeah, so I don't love it. JP Brunette, I'm going to see Werewolves today. Haven't seen a trailer, but I know from Frank Grillo's interview it's going to be a fun time. Look, that movie is exactly what Frank Grillo says it is, and when I watch it, it's like, Roxy, remember like when you would like stumble upon a movie, because you were still in the VHS days growing up as a kid, and someone would throw on some kind of old school movie that you'd find in like inside the video store with crazy effects, and like this is like a 1980s throwback action movie. The practical effects of the werewolves looks like a 1980s werewolf, and it's just the one-liners and everything too. It knows exactly what it wants to be. It's a low budget.
I loved hearing Frank talk about this.
He knows what it wants to be.
It's nice when actors are very real about their work, and he was like, "This is really fun." And I also love. He was like, they really threw more money at it to make the effects be exactly what they wanted. I'm excited to check this out. I haven't yet. But I will.
That's what I love about him. And then when people are like, "Oh, of course he's going to say about Superman. He's a DC guy now." It's like, I ain't Frank Grillo. He literally said about his movie that he's promoting. He said, "Look, I had a lot of fun doing it. I loved it. I like the passion these guys put into this thing. It's like, I hope people love it. If not, you watch it on the plane."
Yeah, I love.
I was like, it was great. It's great. I mean, that's about as honest as you get. Brian O'Neill. Are either of you Futurama fans? Never got into it. No. Seems, but I will tell you this, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I kept telling him I was going to do it. Our mutual friend, Roxy, Andrew Freed, who is the Midas of producers, who's been on this channel many times, and he, he's one of the producers of Chef's Table on Netflix, and the Simpsons did a whole thing on Chef's Table. And
no way.
Yeah, it was really great. Andrew showed it to me,
So
and I was like, "Oh, I got to mention this on the show. It's so great." So you should check it out. It's the Simpsons kind of little bit that they did on Chef's Table. It was pretty awesome because considering how
Christian.
much, yes.
Where are we at?
Oh, 41.
41 in the sun, having fun. Let's go.
You got about 20. Minutes. You need about 22 to beat Roka right now.
One a minute. With
about a half an hour to go. You could do it.
1 minute.
Wait, is that something else? Oh no, let me finish. I'm gonna blew past this guy's question. Are either of you Futurama fans? Seems made both. Let me do that again. Seems that it was made for you both with your collective love of comedy, sci-fi, UAPs, and time travel. There's also great emotion.
Oh, Christian.
You answer this.
Did you watch the Ross Coulthart?
Which one?
This week?
The podcast when he said shit's going down in 2025.
I watched it on YouTube, but it was like an hour and a half show. But anyway, no, I'm not a Futurama fan. Not because I'm not a fan of Futurama, but just because I don't religiously watch it. Yeah. Whenever it's been on and I end up watching an episode, I always think it is awesome.
That's how I feel about Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And Curb. Those are the two. It's so funny.
Yeah, but that Curb take is not a good take. You need to watch every episode.
I've tried, and it's like every time I watch it. Every time I'm like, oh, I like that episode.
You should lock yourself in a room right now. Is the perfect opportunity and watch all of Curb.
Can't do it. Pete Parker, 2288. 28 years later trailer blew me away. I can't wait. Yeah, people are really digging that trailer.
I haven't seen it.
I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Stars. So Star Wars overall. Sativa, hybrid, or indica? Thank you also for Via.
Are they saying Star Wars? Is it a sativa, a hybrid, or an indica?
Yeah.
I would say Star Wars is a hybrid, depending on what you're watching.
Sure.
Because some of it is, like obviously this kid show, Skeleton Crew, is a sativa. But I would say Andor is probably an indica.
Okay, I agree with all that. Also, thank you for Via. That I can get on board with. I'm so glad that you're enjoying Via. People, I'm so curious how many people have gotten Via through this show. Armada, the new Brutalist trailer dropped. Wow. Also, Chris Reeve doc was incredible. I'm gonna watch Brutalist tonight. I'm gonna do a reaction to it tomorrow.
That had a lot of Golden Globes love.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it tonight. Considering I was gonna go see Craven, now I can't. I'm gonna watch a Brutalist. Jim 1. I'm all for innocent until proven guilty, but Disney allowing Jay-Z to attend the Mufasa premiere didn't sit right with me. I guess it's a no-win situation. It isn't. Tough. It's tough. It's a no-win situation because Beyonce's in the movie, right?
Yeah.
So, and she's going to say, you're not going to let my husband
I actually don't know if that's true, but I think she's in the movie.
She was in the original.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but didn't she play Nala?
Yeah, let's look.
I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah. Why? Did he do the music or something? I don't know. I'm not sure. I thought that Lin-Manuel did the music for Mufasa.
Let's see.
But yeah,
maybe they're just invited because they're part of the world.
I think you sit it out. I think that Disney should do everything.
Well, they had clearly already invited him before the accusations came to light. What are they going to do? Call him and say no?
I know.
But I guess you can.
I guess you can, but I think you also have PR people making a heavy push to say, hey, your prior engagements that you turned out you couldn't make it, and yada yada yada. You let him do it, but do it behind the scenes. Brooklyn, showing some support for Roxy. For someone who hasn't seen Severance, can Roxy give me a brief synopsis on what the show is about?
Yeah, I can, and it comes straight from IMDb. Here we go.
Go for it.
Mark leads a team of office workers whose memories have been surgically divided between their work and personal lives. When a mysterious colleague appears outside of work, it begins a journey to discover the truth about their jobs. So basically what happens in Severance is people have elected to have this thing put in their brain that makes it so when they go to work, they're at work and they don't know anything about their outside life. And when they're outside, they don't know anything about their work life. It's truly disconnecting your work from your life, and the pros and cons, I guess we'll call it, of that. It's sci-fi. It's weirdo. Some people have said it's a little slow. To me, it picks up pace as it goes. And definitely to me so far, this is the number one show of the decade. So
it's really good.
Yeah, really, really good. And it comes back in a month.
Is it January? So, January, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you about this show and you finally listened to me. So there you go. That's true, right, Roxy?
How many times did I try to make you watch the show?
Never.
Okay.
All right. Returning favorite here that I haven't seen in quite a while. Darth Vader's burnt asshole. I'm worried about Mandalorian and Grogu. I fear it will have similar story structure problems that Moana 2 had because it was meant to be a season of TV first. DVBA, I feel the same. I know.
I wouldn't worry about something you have no control over. Whoosah.
Yeah, it's a little too fifi for me. All right.
Foo-foo, fifi.
Nick, Roxy, your reactions to Lord of the Rings are great. Even your inability to recognize Carl Urban.
That was crazy.
Glad to see you finally came around on Theoden.
When I realized
hope to see your reactions to the extended editions as well, or at least the deleted scenes.
Thanks so much. When I realized that was Carl Urban at the end, when the credits were, I flipped out.
Hilarious.
Flipped out.
Yeah, that's the first thing I remember him in.
I was like, oh my God, I love him. Sometimes it took me a second to know Miranda Otto. Like when somebody's in a different world, I don't know, just took me a minute.
Yeah, well, people see, there are a lot of people who love your reactions. So
there are a ton. Yeah. Just the mean ones are so vicious.
I know.
It reminds me of it's just crazy. I've never been hated so much for something that I loved.
Top dog rig. Roxy, I love both you and Tara's reactions to Lord of the Rings because you guys really got what it's all about. The basement dwelling losers sending you hate can all go run backwards through a field of dicks. Love you.
Run backwards through a field of dicks. So you just want them to boom, boom.
Yeah, so they're just going to
penetrate.
It's getting hit. But you got to get them excited though. Otherwise, it's just bouncing into things.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. Top Dog Rig follows it up. Is it fair to say that War of the Rohirrim does not have a lot of marketing behind it? Totally fair to say. It comes out last week. It came out last week here in South Africa, and I had no idea. Yeah, it doesn't have a big marketing push whatsoever. So I think that's going to be a big problem.
Wow.
Yeah, big problem. All right, Roxy, 45.
Let's go. 45 still alive. Come on, one a minute.
With Dune, Skeleton Crew, Jackal, Lioness, Creature Commandos, and the Agency overlapping. I can't keep up. Was never an issue on linear TV. So true.
I gotta get on Jackal, and I know I'd be dropping the ball on Jackal.
Is that the
y'all are in my DMs?
Is that the Fassbender show?
Sorry, I was too busy having getting on my high horse. What did you just say?
Was that the Fassbender show?
Yeah. The Day of the Jackal, Eddie Redmayne, and no, not Fassbender.
Not Fassbender. He's on a different show. Okay.
Redmayne and Lashana Lynch. I don't know anything about this show except for how many of you are in my DMs that I'm dropping the ball on this, and because of that, I will watch this.
All right. Out of the theater reviews. To answer Roxy, I try to find the good in every movie, and The Rise of Skywalker was the most disappointing movie experience that I've ever had.
That sucks. Sorry you felt that way. Bummer.
That's a bummer. Scott Cross. I met Sam Witwer over the weekend. Why is he not more involved in Star Wars? If not as an actor, creator, why not consultant? The man is a walking Star Wars encyclopedia. I think he has more input than you think. Not as far as being hired, but I think that he and Filoni are pretty tight, and they talk a lot about these things too. But I don't know why he hasn't been put in a bigger role. I mean, him and Katie had that conversation when he was on the show, on Katie's show. And, it's not something that he's ever going to say to Dave, hey, put me in it. I don't know why Dave wouldn't put him in a live action thing. I think he's a very talented live action actor. He gets a lot of voice actor work stuff, but he doesn't get enough live action stuff. It's weird because he's got such an energy about him. He's kind of like a, and I say this, I don't say this as taking a shot. I say this in kind of an endearing way. He's kind of like a eccentric kind of weird dude in a great way. In a great way. I like weird is in a cool weird. It's like he walks into a room, your eyes are on him, right? He's got that
cool weird.
He's cool weird.
He's a cool weird.
He's cool weird. It's like he's like it, or should even say like
like one time I was doing an event with him, and
Yeah.
it was this benefit for Australia during the fires, and he walked into it was like a bunch of
Yeah.
celebrities and influencers like all raising money. It was like a telethon kind of thing.
Yeah.
And his segment was he was painting these little figurines that were about this
Oh,
big.
he loves his figurines. That's a big thing for him. Yeah.
And so he walked in, and like the concentration
Yeah.
of a Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, he sat down
It's
and
very
like,
intense.
hours.
Yeah.
I don't think he spoke, just was painting these figurines.
Yep.
And I was like, that is a dedicated, like quirky dude.
He is. And there's something about him, his energy when he walks in. I remember when he walked in, he was in the Schmodown and he came in for Schmodown Spectacular. And like, it was like Elvis walked into the room. I mean, everybody was looking at him in the way that he has this energy about him. And the same thing when we used to see him at the premieres, like he'd show up and like it is interesting because he's not, to the average person, they wouldn't know who Sam Witwer is, right? But he's got, in the geek world, he's big.
Yeah.
He should be a big star. I just don't know why he hasn't, because he's not. I've never heard him about being difficult to work with, or the opposite, to be honest with you. So I don't know. I don't know why he hasn't been in more stuff. I think that he could shine in a big role in Star Wars. Dancing Dog 60. Roxy. Devon Sawa as the DCU Green Arrow. Thoughts? A little older right now, isn't he?
Did they announce that?
No. Just
what would be my thoughts?
Yeah.
I think they're asking because I did the Final Destination watch longs for Real Rejects, which I loved and love him.
Were you with us when we interviewed him? You know,
I don't think so.
I'm gonna say you talk and we'll.
That would be crazy. When?
I'll look. You talk what you're gonna say, and then I'll look.
And then I watched the Chucky show. So, he is. Let's see. He is currently 46 years old. Mm-hmm. I wonder the direction they'd be going for Green Arrow and where Green Arrow is going to be in the DCU. I don't know that they're even going to have a Green Arrow, to be honest.
I know. I don't know.
Trying to see where he would exactly fit, but that would be cool. I think Devon Sawa is really talented, so I would love to see him in a superhero role.
You were 100% in the room. So you
shut up.
So you have interviewed Devon Sawa, yeah.
For Collider or where?
Collider Live, yeah. You were in the room when we interviewed him. It was me. I'm looking at it. It's me, you, the director, him, and then Makuga. I'll put the picture.
For what did we have him on for?
It was I don't know what the project was that they were promoting, but it was.
Can I tell you why I'm so upset with that?
Why?
Because I clearly didn't know him well, and I must have done all the research because I always do all the research. But like, I now have a love for him.
So funny. Let me see. I had.
So sad.
I just had the picture. I'll bring up the picture for you in a second here.
So sad.
Yeah. Wait, where is it? You want to see the picture? This is the picture from Collider Live.
I believe you.
Yeah. There it is. See? You're right there with your braids.
Oh, I remember that director.
Yeah. So.
My arm looks ripped there. Go Rox. What was I lifting?
Tell me.
I'm sad.
Yeah, you should be. So fun. I've done that before too. I did it recently. Not with Frank, but kind of with Frank Gill. I said I knew that we had interviewed him before, but I remember talking to Sam, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna absolutely ask Frank Grillo this time about Warrior because I didn't get to do it last time, and we absolutely talked to him about Warrior.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, 51. Roxy, you got 12 to tie 12 to beat Roka. 12 to beat him.
Let's go. 1 minute.
20. We got 20 minutes left. PLD projects.
I know, but I want to beat. You're not getting it.
Hey, PLD projects. I can see it now. Rada has taken over Dex's diner and he's trying to turn it into a 5-star establishment. Don't jinx it, dude, because that's what's going to happen. Bobby Jackson. While I don't agree, I don't disagree that Mando and Grogu was a safe choice. It also makes sense storyline if they're building a big Thrawn story. You just said it though. If they're building the story, the question is, are they going to do a standalone movie that was supposed to be the 4th season and they don't tie it in at all? Then you're going to be like, what the hell was that? I agree. If it turns out to be, oh, look, this was a great build-up to the next movie and the next movie and the next movie and the ultimate, this big event, then it could work. But
I agree with whatever Bobby Jackson says. I love Bobby Jackson.
He's the best. It's one of the reasons I miss LA. Used to do those shows and Bobby would always show up.
Yeah, he's great.
Bobby follows it up. Iger probably said the same thing for Mando that he did for Moana too. That based on popularity, don't confine it to Disney Plus. Let's put it in theaters. I agree, 100%, absolutely. Go pal. Do the sponsors notice that we stick around long term? Like I've been subscribed to AG1 for a year now. I would assume so. I don't know though. Maybe. I know that it's the way that I look at it. So I always tell people to go. If I have a link, if the links are in the description, if PLD, if they're not in the description, please put them in there. But if they're, but I'm pretty sure I put them in before. But what I always tell people to do, even if you don't wind up getting one right away, browse around. Click on those links and browse around and look. Like, you know what, I'm not going to get this today, but maybe I'll get it next time. And use the code. Browse around because it's a conversion link that they're looking at to say, okay, they're looking and they might get something, and that's what helps too. Luke Starkiller. Hi everyone. I think Matt Smith would be a good Voldemort for the Harry Potter show. He would be. Yeah, he would be.
I think him being in House of the Dragon at the same time as Harry Potter would be wild, but he's very talented, so of course he'd be good.
Yeah, he'd be great. Turns out he's not a Star Wars fan, which is hilarious. He said that on, and he was supposed to be cast in Star Wars, and he said that on the Josh Harwood show. Bobby Jackson.
Yes.
The problem that they might run into is that Moana started on the big screen, and as big as Mando and Grogu are, it's only lived on Disney Plus. Sure, and I understand that argument, but the counter to that is that Star Wars started on the big screen in general. You know, so like, yes, Mando and Grogu did, but Star Wars can always fit into the movies. It's kind of, people always felt like it felt contained on television anyway because it's Star Wars, you know, so you shoot it in IMAX, you do the things with the ships, that's what I think that Favreau ultimately wants to do in this. I think that's why he's doing this kind of side adventure movie. I think that he finally gets to make a movie that he wants to make in the Star Wars universe. It's not a television show. It's not his constraints. It's what he knows how to do. He's going to make these movies. He's going to make a movie. He's going to make a big space bounty hunter adventure rescue mission movie. And he's going to go, you like my Star Wars movie? You don't. It doesn't lead up to everything. Who cares? I don't know if it's the way to go, but I feel like that's what he's doing. Yep. Roxy, Dancing Dog 60 says, Roxy, are you pumped for The Accountant Part 2?
I watched The Accountant on an airplane, so I need to reinvigorate myself about this.
So funny, like it's hilarious how like people like just think that you're gonna be excited about it because they're from Boston.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah. It's hilarious.
I mean, like, I love anything. Truthfully, I will watch anything Ben Affleck does. He is one of my top ever. I love him, but I wasn't like clamoring for an Accountant too.
Right. He's a tall dude.
Man, I would just love to work with him.
Where was I? I was at Century City. I remember what movie I was going to watch, and he was just buying concessions by himself. I didn't bother him, but I was like, he is a big dude.
I've now had so many friends work with him. He's circling. I just like have to narrow in.
Yeah, that's it. Just tell yourself you've done it. All right, Roxy, you're 10 away from beating Roca. 10 away.
Let's go.
15 minutes left.
Because we're really 15 away / 20 away from like being a benchmark for the next,
yes.
You know?
Yeah, it's 63 will get you past Roca, but it's the Capes and Cows guys have a shot to win if you're at 63. Shane Joel, have you ever seen a movie at the right time to make it resonate? I saw Changeland and Midsummer while getting divorced, and it hits on a different level. Yes. Strangely enough, I went through a really bad breakup in 2004. About a week afterwards, I don't know why, but I went to see the movie Closer with my friend Mike, of all people. And we went and saw that movie. Clive Owen's performance in that film had me cheering at the screen like I was watching the Super Bowl. It's one that definitely resonates for sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
I can't think of one in this moment, but that does happen to me all of the time. So when I think of one, I'll let you guys know.
All right. Top Dog Rig. After watching 2 episodes of Creature Commandos, Gunn knows how to write intriguing and complex characters, but his writing style often veers into the territory of a 13-year-old edgelord trying too hard.
Listen, I don't fully disagree with this. In this show, I don't even know if I want to say it, but like, I didn't love the way some of the characters were written.
Okay.
Like their motivation is just I thought some of them were a little tough, but
I thought it was typical. I thought it was the same type of writing that I saw in the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, things that he's done before. And so I was expecting this kind of writing. And because I've seen more, like I think they evolve each episode. Like I think episode 4 is probably the best one thus far.
I'm gonna hang in, for sure.
Hang in there. Mad Sinister McCall, Roxy, this one's for you. How many fist fights have you been in, and why?
Why is this one for me?
I don't
know. I have been in probably about 3 or 4 fist fights.
For real?
Yes.
When was the last one?
It's over a decade ago.
Okay.
The last thing I can remember.
God, I would pay money to watch that.
You want to know what the last fist fight I was in that I can remember?
Yes.
I was in college, and there's a very popular school bar, and I was in the bar bathroom, and this girl, my friend, was in the stall, and I was at the sink, and the girl was trying to go into the stall that my friend was in, and one thing led to another, and she shoved me, and we got into a fist fight.
Did you win?
And she ended up getting thrown out of the 9-0, and I did not, because everybody saw it, and she 100% instigated something with me. I won't start it, but I'll always attempt to finish it. That doesn't mean I always will finish it. I'm very small.
I would pay to watch that money. I would pay to watch that so much.
I think I was like 20, 21.
Hilarious. Little firecracker Roxy Stryer jumping around the bathroom.
It was tough.
Go Pal. Can you think of a show that you'd expect that you would love but didn't hook you? I just said it. Curb. I tried Mad Men season 1 twice, but never felt compelled to keep watching. Seinfeld and Curb. Every time I watched, said these are really entertaining. I just never went back enough to say, "Oh, I got to watch that again." My brother kept saying, "You watch Curb? You got to watch it again." I'm like, I've seen it, and it's funny every time, but I just don't find myself like I have to watch this. And Peaky Blinders is the other one. Never watched it yet.
Oh, love.
And I started to watch like the first episode a long time ago, and everyone's telling me how much I love it, and I'm like, I'm not like it. Well, I guess Shogun was another one, right? Shogun was one where I was like, I'll get to it. And then I finally got to it, and I couldn't stop watching it. But it's just a matter of there's so many different shows that I've said that to when I haven't actually sat down and tried to watch them.
Mine is Veep.
Oh, okay. That seems like right up your alley.
So up my alley.
Yeah.
I've watched the first couple episodes a bunch. I keep thinking that I'm going to go, and I like it. I just don't know what it is. I just never watched the show.
Yeah, fair enough. Magic Fingers. Roxy, what are your thoughts on the show Shrinking?
I love it. I think that show is so good, and just so needed. I talk to my therapist friends. They all say it's unbelievably unrealistic, but I don't care. Yeah. I love it.
Of course. And you can tell.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a therapist to know that. So many things that
of course.
Jason Segel would have been fired so many times.
Illegal.
Yeah, he would have been fired and arrested so many times with the things that he does.
Yes.
Roman Fedorak, here's some support. Getting 56. Trying to beat Roker.
God, that's too slow.
I know. Hey, 9 minutes left.
To a minute.
Roker might take you out here. Star Wars overall. What's your favorite Star Wars character? Bad guy is Palpatine. Good guy, probably Obi-Wan, I would say.
Maybe Leia and Vader.
Okay, fair enough. Unheard Sirens Incorporated. Remy. Hey, Roxy, I know that you loved Has Been Hotel. Have you watched the sister show, Haluva Boss, yet?
Helluva.
Helluva. Was it Helluva?
Hell of a box.
Yeah, Helluva. Oh, that makes more sense. Same universe, but it's on YouTube. I think you'd love it.
I haven't watched it. Greg and I have been toying with actually maybe doing it for rejects. I'll keep you posted. Obviously, you'll see if we do. I hear it's amazing. I'd be in.
Oh, speaking of which, I'm sure you had something to do with this. The social video that I saw of the improv, the failed improv
Oh my God.
Coy, that was the worst improv I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God.
It's like really bad extra acting. It was like
the comments are all standing up for him, and I'm like,
I'm gonna call him out on Friday.
I wish you had been there while we were shooting. It wasn't his one and only. There was like 15 moments. I am obsessed with Coy. Everyone knows he's my Boston brother. Yeah. I love Coy. His improv skills are terrible. They're so bad they're good.
Yeah.
Because I was crying. I was laughing.
Right.
So
It was so terrible. He's like in the middle of Greg's like telling me, we're talking about you idiots. And you're like, whoa, easy. And for some reason, he goes, hey, I'm walking here. It's like to quote Dustin Hoffman. And, you know,
like 50 times that. I'm sure that came up in Schmodown at some point, Christian.
Well, and he was actually pretty good in the scenes, to be honest. Okay. Like he was in the stuff that we did. He wouldn't, that was just like random lines. Like, okay, you're going to buy a car. All right. But that's it. You're just saying thank you to the guy, and you're walking out. And he said, "How was your day today?" "Oh, it's pretty good, thanks." Salami lemons. Salami lemons. What does that have to do with anything?
He did it over and over until the point where Greg finally was like, "Coy, just say yes or no. Just like cut what you're doing." Like,
I don't know what he was doing, but it was. I was like, did he think that was going to make the cut?
I think he thought it was going to steal the show.
I'm definitely calling him out on this on Friday.
It's amazing. It's amazing. He's so good.
It was so ridiculous. Go, pal. Devin Sauer reminds me. Roxy, you should react to Idle Hands. It's a good one to do also.
What's Idle Hands?
Oh, man. That's one of his famous ones. You should check
really?
That. Yeah. Popular. I think that they're doing a remake of it also with the kid from Stranger Things. Popular Tripe. Have you seen Sam Witwer as William Shatner / Captain Kirk in the new Star Trek short online? Technology, all in camera, beats any deepfake. Lucasfilm should take notes. P.S. Roxy is awesome.
Oh, yes, Popular Tribe. Adore.
No, I got to see that. Did you see that thing that they're talking about with
No.
Okay. Daniel San. When the James Gunn interview happens, can you ask why he lied about Flash being the best comic book movie that he'd ever seen? You can't lie to your customer's face like that. Doesn't hurt to be honest.
I want to stand up for him for a second on that, because people ask this question about me all the time, and it pisses me off. Just because you don't agree with something doesn't make it a lie.
Right.
And also, just because he said it at the time doesn't mean it's how he feels now. But when he watched and when he said that, I bet that is really how he felt. And he's selling a product too, but I think he really thought that it was amazing. I actually really liked the movie. But this happens to me all the time. I'll say something was great. Like, remember who tweeted at you that I had said a movie was great, and they were like, "Why did she lie about that?"
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
Or they tweeted and then you responded. This happens all the time. It's not an opinion is not a lie.
Right.
That's not what an opinion is. It is, and respect to this commenter, because thank you so much for your support, and I appreciate you asking the question. But I always think that that's an egregious accusation to accuse somebody of lying for their opinion.
If he would have said like, "Oh, I didn't really mean that. I only said it to sell the thing," then you can say that. Because well, why did you lie then? But it seems like he still feels that way. So yeah, it's not it's not a lie. You might not agree with him, but it's not a lie. So Chris Grainer. Blue Bloods ends this week. End of an era. The only way I even knew about Blue Bloods is because Bonnie was in it.
I don't watch Blue Bloods.
Yeah, Bonnie was in it, so that's
where we at, Christian.
You're one away from tying Roca.
Oh my God, we still need so many more.
I know. Well, it's me, Steve. I can't even get the words out. My voice is. I can't do the Mad Hatter impression, and I can't do the "It's a me, Steve-O" right now.
That's got to be killing you.
Yeah, it's embarrassing when I even try to do the Mad Hatter right now. Will we ever see a Schmoes No reunion? Bring everyone back? Probably not. It's like getting the old band back together type thing. It's just like, yeah, probably not. And I don't have the strength to put it all together.
Good. Give people hope. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. Dancing
and
Dogs.
Then if you do ever do a Schmoes reunion, then somebody's going to say, why'd you lie about saying you were never going to do it?
Now, if you're talking about just having Ellis back, I would love to. I'd love to. I was texting with Ellis last night. I mean, I want to have him on, but I've been hesitant to ask him to do virtual because I wanted my first show with him back to be in person. I just don't know when he's going to be in New York. But we are going to, I mean, not that they're part of the era, but Sam, Levine, and Clark are on the show tomorrow. So
great. I'm so excited for their project. Hope it crushes.
Yeah, so that'll be good. Dancing Dog 60 for both. What's your favorite dim sum item? Dumplings count?
Ooh. What'd you say?
Dumplings?
Yeah. What kind?
Chicken steamed.
No, I'm a pork and shrimp girly.
No, I
love pork and shrimp. I also love pork buns.
My opinion.
Why'd you lie about what food you like best?
I know, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And again, it's not to the commenter. I understand. That's a pet peeve of mine. I'm with you. I'm obsessed with dumplings and pork buns too.
Yeah. Roman Fedorak. More support. Roxy's face with sexy Sauron had me busting a gut. I'm still excited for War
I'm
of
just
Rohan.
confused.
That's fine. I do wonder if the show hurt reception. I think it didn't help. I can tell you that. All right, let's see. Now we got Dancing Dog 60. Thoughts on Dude, Where's My Car? Do you want a sequel? I don't need a sequel.
Oh my God.
You love that movie, right?
No.
Oh, you hate it.
Christian.
Oh.
So Steph and I have been working on something for a while. We were watching a lot of old comedies to see what worked and what didn't. I loved that movie when it came out.
Oh.
I thought it was great.
You revisited it?
I rewatched that movie a year ago.
Horrendous?
It is maybe my least favorite movie of all time.
Wow.
It was so bad. I don't want to say it didn't age well, like no comedy can age well, but because it was everything though. The whole thing. I was like, oh my God, bro. I do not like this.
It was like
movie.
24 years ago, that movie. Go,
it
pal.
was not good.
On the other hand, what shows do you keep going back to? I've watched Sarah. Yeah, what do you keep going back to? Sopranos for me. I've watched Sarah Connor Chronicles over and over to go in. Yeah, but Sopranos.
Man, I'm doing Terminator right now for the Rejects.
Have you never seen the first Terminator?
Well, now.
Wow, you've seen it now, the first one.
Yeah, but not the second one, which we're watching. But they're coming out. I don't even know if I should. Whatever.
All right. Well, if everybody loves the second one. The second one.
That's what I hear.
First one's my favorite. I love the first one. It's such old school horror movie. If you don't like that, you're not allowed on the show anymore. So if you didn't like the movie, you're not allowed on the show.
Good thing I'm allowed on the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so things I go back to, obviously Friends all the time, pretty much all the sitcoms. How I Met Your Mother, I watch a lot on repeat, things
Friends.
like that.
Yeah. PLD projects. There he is. Aragorn turns to the chat with a grim face for Roxy. There you go. Perfect.
I love Aragorn.
Mike Joyce, Super/Man is wonderful. A must watch for you two. Yeah, I got to finish it, but it's pretty. I
haven't watched it yet.
It's pretty damn good. Go, pal. Did you see Whitwer talking about correcting Filoni that Padme already met Shmi? Yes, I saw that. That's a problem. Out of the theater reviews, your reaction on to Sam carrying Frodo. # Roxy win.
That was so beautiful.
You're crying?
I just was so moved. Moved. No, people are really upset, Christian, because I had teary eyes, but I wasn't crying.
Upset.
And people are so upset about that.
I love when my wife gets mad at me because I don't cry at anything. Dancing Dog 60. Could a Pee-wee's Playhouse type show work today? You never say never, but there's only one Pee-wee Herman, so I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
All right, Roxy.
Where am I at?
We finished. That was the last question.
No, we don't know it's the last question. There's somebody else at home. You could be the last question. This could be your opportunity. Go ahead.
Well, while we wrap up, is almost the last question. As it stands today, I haven't called it yet, but as it stands, 63. You've beaten Roka, but now it's actually up to Clark and Sam to see if they can beat you tomorrow.
Ooh.
That might be tough.
That's a really good one.
That's a good one. Clark and Sam tomorrow on the show. So right now, though, 63 is a good number to have. Where can the people find you, Rox?
Everywhere at Roxy Stryer.
It's pretty simple, pretty easy.
Yep.
Thank you guys for joining us on the show. I really love you guys being here. And for the people that have been saying all the wonderful words about whether it's the interviews or the live shows or the videos we're putting out, thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for doing all that. If you haven't subscribed to our Clips channel, please do that. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can become a member of this channel if you'd like. You can get one of our sponsors. That how so you can support the show. But we'll be back here tomorrow, as I mentioned. Well, we got one more, Roxy, right before I sign off.
What is it?
Levi.
Yes, Levi.
Yep. Who says road trip or Euro trip? Sam Witwer voices little Teak, who drives the kids to the pirate den in episode 2. Oh, that's interesting.
I haven't seen
I didn't
Euro
know
Trip
that.
in a
Oh,
while.
that's awesome.
I did rewatch Road Trip, and I think Road Trip is hysterical.
Yeah, I'd probably say Road
So,
Trip also.
I'm going to say Road Trip, but I haven't seen Euro Trip in a long time.
I never thought that we would end the show with a road trip question, and that's what happened. So
You don't know that.
I do now. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate it, and we will see you back here tomorrow with Clark and Sam. Bye-bye.